The Russian tsunami bomb and how it works. The Pentagon documents confirm the existence of this Doomsday torpedo. Now, according to Wikipedia, and I have an animation coming up, the animation of the principle of the bouncing bomb. The bomb is dropped close to the surface of the lake because it's moving almost horizontally at velocity, and with backspin, it bounces several times instead of sinking, and each bounce is smaller than the previous one, and the bomb run is calculated so that at its final bounce, the bomb will reach close to the target where it sinks. A depth charge causes it to explode at the right depth, creating destructive shock waves. Now, this bouncing bomb principle is used in the dam busters during World War II. The bomb, called Upkeep, was designed to be dropped at 60 feet, approximately a third of a mile from the dam. The bomb would strike the wall of the dam, and due to the 500 RMP backspin imparted on it, roll down the wall and detonate at 30 feet down. And this GIF incorrectly shows the bomb sinking near to the dam. But this is according to Wikipedia. Now, the tsunami bomb, as we call it, was an attempt during World War II to develop a tectonic weapon that could create destructive tsunamis. The project commenced after U.S. Navy officer E.A. Gibson noticed small waves generated by explosions used to clear coral reefs. The idea was developed by the United States and New Zealand military in a program codenamed Project SEAL. The weapons concept was deemed feasible, but the weapons themselves were never fully developed or used. A related concept, the bouncing bomb, was developed and used in World War II, as I said before, to be dropped into water as a means to destroy German dams and cause loss of industrial capacity and widespread flooding. The testing and development tests were conducted by Professor Thomas Leach of the University of Auckland and Wangaparaoa off the coast of Auckland and off New Caledonia between 1944 and 45. British and U.S. defense chiefs were eager to see it developed, and it was considered potentially as important as the atomic bomb. It was expected to cause massive damage to coastal cities or coastal defenses. The weapon was only tested using small explosions and never on a full scale. 3,700 test explosions were conducted over a 7-month period. The tests revealed that a single explosion would not produce a tsunami, but concluded that a line of 2 million kilograms of explosives about 5 miles off the coast would create a destructive wave. Details of the experiments, codenamed Project SEAL, were released to the public by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade in 1999 and are available at Archives New Zealand in Wellington and the Scripps Institute of Oceanography Archives in San Diego, California. A 1968 research report sponsored by the U.S. Office of Naval Research addressed this hypothesis of coastal damage due to large explosion-generated waves and found theoretical and experimental evidence showing it to be relatively ineffective in wave-making potential, with most wave energy dissipated by breaking on the continental shelf before reaching the shore. Analysis of the declassified documents in 1999 by the University of Waikato suggested the weapon would be viable. No specific targets for the weapon were identified, but in 2013, New Zealand broadcast and author Ray Waru suggested coastal fortifications in Japan ahead of an invasion of the Japanese home islands. Egyptian magazine Al Osboa claimed that in 2004, Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami was intentionally caused by a nuclear weapon detonated in a strategic position under the ocean. Now, the Soviets, Andrei Sakharov was the leader of Project Lavina, or Avalanche in Russian, Lavina, Avalanche. Its goal was to detonate 100 million tons of strategically placed TNT, causing waves that would devastate the U.S. Pacific and Atlantic coasts. And Russia, in 2018, Russia has released plans for a 20 to 100 megaton tsunami bomb named Status 6 or Poseidon torpedo, which is realized as a nuclear-powered and nuclear-armed unmanned underwater vehicle with a length of about 24 meters. That's about, 70, 80 feet. According to Russian propaganda during the invasion of Ukraine, the Poseidon torpedo may initiate a 500-meter high shockwave. So it's not 500 feet, it's 1,500 feet shockwave. Now, the bouncing bomb we talked about, the earthquake bomb or seismic bomb, was a separate but related concept, was separately invented by the British aerospace engineer early in World War II. Now, concerning according to Naval News, Russia's new Poseidon superweapon and what we need to know, it's raised tensions further by placing its nuclear forces on high alert, termed Special Regime of Combat Duty. And we'll take a closer look at one of the most controversial weapons. Among a myriad of new impressive superweapons, Poseidon stands out. As Russia ratcheted up nuclear threat for the past few days following their invasion of Ukraine, one of the weapons on people's minds is Poseidon. This nuclear mega torpedo is unique in the history of the world. Despite speculation, we do not believe the Poseidon has been deployed. The system is not yet ready, but it does raise concerns for nuclear stability in the future, and it changes the shape of nuclear deterrence and will become one of Russia's most feared weapons. Poseidon is an intercontinental nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed autonomous torpedo. It's a giant torpedo which can hit coastal cities with devastating results. Compared to an intercontinental ballistic missile, it's very slow but possibly unstoppable. Russia maintains that it can also be used as a tactical nuclear weapon against warships. High-value targets would include aircraft carriers. This is harder to rationalize in the second strike nuclear deterrence role, but is a constant theme. And ever since it was first revealed in November 2015, then known as Status 6, it has been described as a multi-role system. The weapon's expected speed, around 70 knots, is fast enough to make it realistically uncatchable to existing torpedoes, and its operating depth, perhaps as deep as 3,300 feet or 1,000 meters, puts it beyond reach of whatever vessels we have. They don't go that deep. Now, Western planners will have to develop new weapons to intercept this, and that will take considerable time and investment. A nuclear reactor gives the weapon essentially unlimited range. It gives it new levels of operational flexibility in terms of launch and target locations, although it is restricted to at-sea or coastal targets, such as New York, Los Angeles, whatever, the British Isles. It can be launched from under the protection of the ice cap or from coastal waters. In reality, the reactor is likely to be built for limited usage, however. It does not appear that it is intended for sustained use, which will shape the way it can be used. This fits with it being a weapon short in anger rather than prototypical underwater drone. Although the weapon is large, we estimate in the region of 100 tons, it's still small by nuclear submarine standards. It uses direct drive from the steam turbine via gearing to the pump jet. The small diameter does not appear to allow for any significant quietening, so the craft will not be particularly stealthy. Additionally, there is minimal shielding, so it may leave a trail of radio opacity, and this could be a factor in tracking it, especially during trials. The shielding also raises that the reactor would not be run while the weapon is aboard the submarine. This would require additional shielding to protect the crew. This is concerning what is written on Naval News. Now, the Pentagon, on Popular Mechanics, the Pentagon document confirms the existence of the Russian Poseidon Doomsday Tsunami torpedo. Canyon is designed to wipe out the enemy's coastlines and make them unlivable for generations, at least 100 years. A key U.S. nuclear weapon document confirms that the Russian government is developing the most powerful nuclear weapon in more than half a century. A leaked copy of the Pentagon's nuclear posture review states that Russia is developing a new intercontinental nuclear-armed undersea autonomous torpedo. The existence of the weapon known as Canyon with a K, to the Pentagon and Ocean Multipurpose System Status 6 to Russia was first leaked by Russian television in November 2015. A test involving the Sarov-class submarine mothership was leaked December 2016. The Nuclear Posture Review Report, dated January 2018, lists the weapon as a part of Russia's underwater nuclear arsenal. Canyon is reportedly a very large, long-range autonomous underwater vehicle that has a range of 6,200 miles, a maximum depth of 3,280 feet, and a speed of 100 knots, according to claims in leaked Russian documents. Contaminated areas would be off limits to humanity for up to 100 years. But what really makes Canyon nightmare fuel is the drone Torpedo's payload, a 100 megaton thermonuclear weapon, and by way of comparison, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima was 16 kilotons, or the equivalent of 16,000 tons of TNT. Canyon's nuke would be the equivalent of 100 million tons of TNT. That's twice as powerful as the Tsar bomb, the most powerful thermonuclear weapon ever tested. Now, dropped on a New York City size, a 100 megaton bomb would kill 8 million people outright and injure 6 million more. Canyon is designed to attack coastal areas, destroying cities, naval bases, and ports. The megabomb would also generate, as we said, an artificial tsunami that would surge inland, spreading radioactive contamination with the advancing water. So it's not just the water, it's also radioactive water. To make matters worse, there are reports the warhead is salted, quote unquote, with the radioactive isotope cobalt-60. Contaminated areas would be off limits to humanity for up to 100 years. Canyon is designed to get around American ballistic missile defenses, primarily the ground-based interceptor missiles based in Alaska and California. Although GBI, ground-based interceptor, is meant to counter small numbers of intercontinental ballistic missiles, IBMs, from rogue countries such as Iran and North Korea, Russia wants to make it abundantly clear that it could still penetrate U.S. defenses even if they were scaled up to deal with larger, more powerful nuclear arsenals. Canyon's range and payload make it much larger than existing torpedoes. According to submarine expert H.I. Sutton, Canyon is only 5.5 feet wide and 80 feet long, making it twice as large as a Bulava submarine-launched ballistic missile. Sutton also believes the torpedo is nuclear-powered. The Russian Navy is testing Canyon from a Sarov-class Russian Navy submarine. The unique, one-of-a-kind Sarov does not have any torpedo tubes of her own, but instead carries a nuclear-armed AUV externally attached to the pressure hull. So this is on Popular Mechanics. I'll leave links below for you for this. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. It's basically how the secret Russian tsunami bomb works. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.